Hello everyone, I am Avsheen Kaur, Assistant Professor, Management Education and Research Institute. I have come up with one more session on basic management terminologies. Let us discuss more management terms. Our first term is sum of the parts analysis. Sum of the parts analysis is a breakup analysis which is utilized to evaluate each business segment or division's value separately and then add them together to determine the company's implied overall enterprise value. It is the most relevant in case of the hostile takeovers and restructuring. For example, ABC Corporation has 3 units. Technology having a value of 37,500 crores, retail having a value of 22,500 crores and real estate with the value of 15,000 crores. The total value will be 75,000 crores. We minus the debt of 7,500 crore and add the cash of 3,750 crores, resulting in the final valuation of 71,250 crores. So, in this way, after separately valuing the different units and then adding them together to determine the whole valuation, we get implied value of an enterprise. Our next term is Black-Scholes-Merton model. Black-Scholes-Merton model determines fair value of the financial instruments that include stock, bonds and options. It determines price based on 5 main variables, which include risk-free rate of interest, rate of riskless asset, stock price, current market price of underlying assets, time until the expiration, third strike price, predetermined price and volatility, degree of violation of the variation of the price over a time. Our next term is contingent valuation model. Contingent valuation is a type of preference survey in which respondents are asked to state their willingness to pay for products and the service in a hypothetical market for the products that are not yet available for the sale. For example, a cafe surveys 1,000 customers about a new organic coffee. Customers are willing to pay rupees 150 per cup on average and cafe expects to sell 50,000 cups annually. Using this data, the cafe estimates potential revenue of 75 lakhs for the new coffee line. Our next term is intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights are the entitlements granted to the individuals regarding the products of their intellect. Typically, they grant creator an exclusive right to utilize their formation for a specified duration. Examples include copyrights, patents, trademarks, goodwill and geographical indications. Our next term is crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is the combination of two words, crowd and outsourcing, in which a large community is tapped to collect data and contribute to solving problems and addressing challenges, typically through a digital platform. For example, a company may use crowdsourcing to design a new logo by inviting the public to submit their designs, selecting the best one for the use. This approach harnesses the creativity and expertise of a wide audience. Our next term is churn rate. The percentage of clients or the users who ceases employing a company's product or else doing business with it has been known as the churn rate. The higher the churn rate, the riskier the business becomes. For example, a streaming service loses 10% of its subscribers every month. Our next term is customer lifetime value. Customer lifetime value calculates the average revenue a company can anticipate from a client over the duration of their partnership. It helps businesses understand customer profitability and allocate resources effectively for the retention and acquisition. For example, a coffee shop estimates each loyal customers bring $2,000 over 3 years. Our next term is limited liability corporation. In limited liability corporation, owner's liability has been only restricted to the amount of unpaid shares. It has been a separate legal entity. That means a company could own property, incur the debts and sue and get sued independently. This type of business structure protects the owners from being held personally responsible for the debts of the company. Our next term is sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is a kind of business entity where owner and legal entity are the same and the business is owned and operated just by a one person. For instance, Maya's bakery is a sole proprietorship of Maya. She manages each aspect of the company, including sales, banking, and finances. As the role of the owner, she is personally responsible for the debts or the legal issues the bakery faces. Our next term is paid time off. Paid time off is a benefit given to the employees, allowing them to take a specific number of leaves while still being paid for that period. It depends on the policies of a particular company. For instance, ABC Corporation offers paid time off to its employee. Each employee receives 15 days of paid time off per year, which can be used for vacation, personal days or illness. For example, if an employee Raj takes 5 days off for a vacation, those 5 days are paid and Raj's remaining paid time off balance would be 10 days. Our next term is sabbatical leave. A sabbatical leave is the extended break given to the employees, typically lasting for 2 to 3 months or more for professional or the personal development. It may be paid or unpaid depending upon the company's policies. For instance, a professor takes 6 months off to conduct an independent research. Our next term is bereavement leave. Bereavement leave is a time off granted by the company to an employee after the death of a family member or a loved one. It depends on the company's policies and is typically a short-term leave policy. For instance, XYZ Limited provides 5 days off of bereavement leave for employees who lose an immediate family member. For instance, if an employee Sarah experiences the death of her father, she is entitled to take 5 paid days off to handle the funeral without affecting her salary. Our next term is signing bonuses. Signing bonus is a financial reward that is offered to a newly joined employees to encourage them to join the particular position. It is a motivation for retention, to attract top talent, to cover relocation cost. Tech Innovation Limited offers a 1 lakh signing bonuses to new hires to encourage them to join the company. For example, when Priya accepts a job offer, she receives the bonus in her first paycheck as an incentive to complete the hiring process and start her role. Next is jury duty leave. Jury duty leave is a time off granted to the employees to fulfill their civic duty by serving on the jury for judicial proceedings. For instance, Greenfield Enterprise offers jury duty leave to its employees. If Raj is called to serve on a jury, he can take up 10 days of paid leave without affecting his salary. The company ensures he is compensated while fulfilling his civic duty. Some of the other corporate governance terms we can take off. For a one-tier board. A one-tier board is a governance structure in which a single administrative body manages and supervises the company. It consists of both executive along with the non-executive directors who works collaboratively to represent the interests of the shareholders. A single board of the director, for example, oversees both the management and the governance of a company. Our next term is interlocking directorates. Interlocking directorates refer to the business practice in which a person serves on a board of 2 or more companies, effectively sharing a board of directors. It is considered legal as long as the companies are not in the direct competition with each other. For instance, a person serves on the boards of 2 non-competing companies such as bank and a hospital. Our next term is external audit. An external audit is typically conducted by outside parties to provide an objective and unbiased financial review of the company. For example, XYZ Limited hires an external auditing firm to review its annual financial reports. Our next term is internal audit. An internal audit is the independent, objective assessment of the company's internal controls and accounting procedures. Its purpose is to enhance the company's effectiveness. For example, XYZ Limited has an internal audit team that regularly reviews its accounting practices and procedures to ensure they are efficient and secure. Our next term is whistleblower. A whistleblower is an individual who exposes confidential or else sensitive information to the public or relevant authorities to highlight malpractice, corruption, safety violations, deceit, or other unethical behavior. For instance, an employee report illegal activities in their organization to the authorities. Our next term is exclusivity agreement. A legal contract within two parties whereby one party prohibits the another party from selling a particular item to a specific buyer for an extended period is referred to as exclusivity agreement. It is essential to create controlled environment for ensuring that the deal remains focused. For instance, a retailer agrees to sell only one supplier's brand of electronics. Our next term is escrow account. An escrow account is an arrangement whereby a third party holds the money or the assets until certain conditions are met. It reduces various contemporary risks and fraud. Our next term is sustainable policy. A sustainable policy involves creating a strong link between economic, social, environmental systems to deal with contemporary issues while providing for requirements of present along with the upcoming generations. For instance, a firm reduces plastic use and invests in renewable energy for a long-term viability. Our next term is sustainability in supply chain. Throughout whole life cycle of the goods and services, supply chain sustainability involves managing the impact on the environment, society and economy while encouraging good governance practices, establishing, preserving and enhancing sustainable environmental, social and economic value for all parties engaged in delivering the goods and services to market has been the objective. For instance, a shoe brand utilizes eco-friendly materials as well as ensures fair wages for the workers. Our last term is carbon footprint. Carbon footprint is a measure that represents greenhouse gas emissions in individuals' activities of an organization. For instance, a company's operations emit 10,000 tons of CO2 annually. Thank you. I hope this session would be helpful to you.